Estonia. The world is going to be on.
Okay, and again, I wanted to bring this out because there's a lot of practical things that they went over in these clips, and also the potential for World War III, and how they're really predicting that this summer, much of this may really start to go down.
All right, we got Gerald this segment, the next, and Bob Chapman, the whodunit. What really happened yesterday with the 1,000-point plunge? What's happening in the markets and more of your calls? I've got some Twitter questions, and Randy, Shanky, Joe, Jeff, and Fred, and others. But a quick question, Gerald Celente. There's a lot of drum beating by the FCC, by the media, by the governments of the world to censor the Internet. A, when do you see this World War III thing being launched? B, do you see them trying to clamp down on the web?
Well, when it happens, they will clamp down on the web. When they lose control, every aspect where they lose control, they will try to double up and gain more control. The war is happening now. It was announced just 2 days ago that President Obama is going to step up the attacks in Pakistan. From Pakistan, it could explode into India. We don't know what Israel is going to do with Iran. The whole Middle East is up for grabs. There is no peace process. It's only getting worse over there. We can't put a specific date on it, but it's in the making. And unless the people really become aware of it, stand up and step out and speak out, then we're doomed.
All right,
let's the people.
Let's go to calls. Randy in Texas, thanks for holding. Go ahead. Quick question.
What do you recommend ordinary citizens do with their assets, hard assets? More precisely, what type should we get into?
Well, I'm not allowed by law to provide financial advice. That's why I always make it clear this is what I would do. And what I've done, and I've said it over and over again, is very simple for me. I buy gold, 80%. The rest of my money I have hedged. I'm in dollars and I'm in Canadian dollars. One goes up, the other goes down. All I want is wealth preservation. Gold is my wild card. The other ones, all I want to do is stay here.
That's right. In this game, gold could be, and this is for me personally, speculatively it could go way up. But bottom line, it has real intrinsic value, and so it is an emergency backup. It's insurance. I'm not looking in this danger zone to have big increases, though gold is doing that. I'm looking at wealth preservation. Thank you, Randy. Shanky in Georgia, you're on the air with Gerald Celente. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Thanks. Congratulations both you and Gerald for great success y'all are having in getting the word out. I really appreciate what y'all are doing. My question resolves, y'all were talking about money, holding cash, taking money out of the banks. A lot of the questions I get revolve around 401ks and IRAs and with the reflation trade and the potential of a failed treasury auction and the monetization, they have discussed basically what they're discussing in Greece taking over the pension plan. Gerald, do you think they'll take the 401k, the IRA monies, and force it into treasuries to keep this country alive as long as possible?
If a war breaks out, that could be one of the things that they do. Again, what they'll use is they'll use a war or a terror attack to take any draconian measures that they can and hide behind them. We saw it with Bush, with the abrogation of so many of our rights under the Patriot Act, with the wiretapping, on and on and on. Yes, it becomes a probability. And unfortunately, I'm stuck in situations, too. I have to put money in IRAs. I get taxed very heavily. So I have my money floating out in that as well. But again, my strategy is, and I know the downsides, believe me, but I have to do something. I have my money in ETFs.
Okay, so that was one of the things that he emphasized there at the end. If things start to get really bad, 401ks, pension plans, IRAs, who knows what else the government will come and take in order to prop up the economy. So if you don't possess it physically, it's a very big risk. And if you're possessing paper currencies, there's nothing backing the paper currencies, particularly the dollar. And as a result, if the dollar collapses, then you could still wind up with next to nothing. So he's recommending gold. Gold, I really think that you need to just include gold and silver in that discussion. There's a lot of other precious metals as well. Platinum, palladiums went through the roof. Silver right now is at $19.32 an ounce. So that's up, quite a bit. And gold's at $1,231 an ounce. But most likely, as the gold goes up, you're going to see the silver go up as well. And for a lot of people, they can't afford, to get, the gold because it's obviously a lot more money. And silver in a barter type of economy or a barter type of system, you could actually have smaller denomination silver, which you could actually, make change. If you have a 1 ounce gold coin, there's only so much you can do with it. You can't really buy a loaf of bread. So just some things to think about there. And let's go ahead and we're going to go to the next video here, one video clip from Bob Chapman. And we're going to get his take on this as well. Another
military intelligence, the biggest silver and gold broker, private broker, and that's Mainline News reporting that. At the time, he had the biggest private newsletter in the world till he retired in '88. He came back in the last decade. We've been interviewing him because he just couldn't stay retired. And he put out the Gary Allen report as well. He helped publish None Dare Call a Conspiracy. He's been fighting for 45 years. And we've got Merkel blasting treacherous banks in Greek crisis. She's now saying they engineered it. That's a head of state. So the rats are turning on each other. That's out of French news agency. Here's Bloomberg. Merkel slams Greek scandal as Goldman role examined. It's Goldman in every case, as Bob Chapman told you 10 years ago. And so to discuss what happened yesterday.
So Bob Chapman was saying this 10 years ago about Goldman Sachs and their corruption level. And the Bible says out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses a thing is established. We have Gerald Celente, we have Bob Chapman, we have a lot of other people confirming what's going on, the trend that we're moving into, what they're seeing on the horizon. And this is why, and they're giving a lot of practical things that one might have questions about that you could implement.
And then where this I remember him saying 3 years ago that it would start in Greece, then Portugal, then Spain, now England, a hung parliament in England. They're saying England's got as big a debt ratio. We're already having treasury auction failures, the Fed's having to buy it. California knew when they raised taxes that it would cause less receipts. That was in the LA Times 2 days ago. They know raising taxes and carbon taxes is going to bankrupt us. They want to bankrupt us. They're all or nothing in. This is a criminal financial assault backed up by paramilitary military force. This is it. There's no more denial. We were right about everything. It stands on its own. You better listen to us right now. Bob Chapman of the International Forecaster, good to have you with us for the rest of the hour. Break down what's going on, because if anybody knows what happened yesterday, it is that bloodhound, Bob Chapman.
Well, thank you very much. And after all these years, I've got to tell you, Alex, and I'm going to tell you once, you're brilliant. Thank you, Gerald Celente, for the kind words, and I return them in mutual admiration. What happened yesterday in the market, we had selling come in from Europe. I understand it was 2 hedge funds, and then the black boxes took over. And you just described the results. It dropped 1,000 points. The government rushed in and ran it back up again. There was no person pushing the wrong button. That was a cover lie, if you may. And the market is now down 140 points today and headed south again. And it's going to go down a long way when you get Richard Russell telling us that the Dow's going to 1,000. I'm looking for 2,800 to 3,200. So isn't Dave Tice and Joe Granville as well. And we all know each other. And we don't communicate, so we don't compare things. And so we're on our way. If you're in the stock market, you better be out. The only exception is gold and silver shares. And, of course, you should all be accumulating gold and silver coins. And so yesterday was on a scale of October the 19th, 1987. I was in London that day, and all heck broke loose. Actually, they had a hurricane the night before, and all the trees were down and everything. But I had lunch with a fellow